Is the Kalki Avatar already among us? Shocking proof. From ancient texts across the vast span of time and faith, there lies a prophecy so powerful. It foretells the end of an age and the rise of a savior. The final avatar of Vishnu, the harbinger of cosmic justice, the warrior riding a white horse, Kalki. But what if Kalki is already among us? In this episode, we dive deep into ancient texts, decode clues from scriptures, and compare them with what's unfolding around us right now. Kalki, the 10th and final avatar of Lord Vishnu, is prophesied to descend at the darkest hour of the Kali Yuga. His mission? To destroy evil, restore Dharma, and restart the cycle of time. Let's learn more about the Kalki Avatar. Kalki is an avatara of Vishnu. Avatar means descent and refers to a descent of the divine into the material realm of human existence. Kalki appears for the first time in the Mahabharata, one of the two major Sanskrit epics of ancient India revered as Smriti texts in Hinduism, the other being the Ramayana. The Garuda Purana, the Sanskrit text, lists 10 incarnations, with Kalki being the final one. He is described as the incarnation who appears at the end of the Kali Yuga. He ends the darkest, degenerating and chaotic stage of the Kali Yuga to remove adharma and ushers in the Satya Yuga while riding a white horse with a fiery sword. He restarts a new cycle of time. He is described as a Brahmin warrior in the Puranas. It is mentioned in the Puranas that the immortal Chiranjeevis, a group of immortals who are believed to remain alive on earth until the end of the current age, known as the Kali Yuga, according to Hindu literature, will assist him in various stages of his life. A minor text named Kalki Purana is a relatively recent text, likely composed in Bengal. In the Kalki Purana, Kalki is born into the family of Vishnuyashas and Sumati in a village called Shambala on the 13th day during the fortnight of the waxing moon. At a young age, he is taught the holy scriptures on topics such as Dharma, Karma, Artha, Jnana, and undertakes military training under the care of the Parashurama, the 6th incarnation of Vishnu. Soon, Kalki worships Shiva, who gets pleased by the devotion and provides him in return a divine white horse named Devadatta, a manifestation of Garuda, is a Hindu deity who is primarily depicted as the Mount Vahana of the Hindu god Vishnu, a powerful sword whereby its handle is bedecked with jewels, and a parrot named Shuka, who is an all-knower, the past, the present, and the future. Other accessories are also given by other devas, devis, saints, and righteous kings. He fights an evil army, and in many wars, ending evil, but does not end existence. Kalki returns to Shambala, inaugurates a new yuga for the good, and then goes to Vaikuntha. In the Kalki Purana, there is a mention of a Buddhist city whose residents don't adhere to Dharma, not worshipping the devas, ancestors, and not upholding the Varna system, which Kalki fights and conquers. But before moving into details of the last avatar of this world, let's get to know the other ones, to get the bigger picture of the scope of the event. Matsya, the fish avatar. King Vaivasvata Manu is the current Manu, the progenitor of the human race in Hindu cosmology. Finds a little fish in the palm of his hands when performing the Tarpana, water offering. The fish asks Manu if his riches and power was enough to give the fish a nice home. Manu keeps the fish to give it a home, but the fish keeps expanding, which breaks Manu's pride about his wealth. Eventually, he releases it into the ocean, realizing it is Vishnu himself. Vishnu informs Manu of the coming destruction of the world by means of fires and floods, and directs Manu to collect all creatures of the world and keep them safe on a boat built by the gods. When the deluge, pralaya, flood myth occurs, Vishnu appears as a great fish with a horn, to which Manu ties the boat, which leads them into safety. Kurma, the tortoise turtle avatar, In the legend of the Samudra Manthana, major episode in Hinduism about eternal life, the Devas and Asuras were churning the ocean of milk in order to obtain Amrita, the nectar of immortality. They used the mountain Mandara as the churning shaft, which started to sink. Vishnu took the form of a tortoise to bear the weight of the mountain to allow them to complete their task. Varaha, the boar avatar, the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, Jaya and Vijaya, are cursed by the four Kumaras when they stop them from seeing Vishnu. They choose to be reborn, 3 times as Asuras, as adversaries of Vishnu. In their first birth, they are born as the brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Varaha appeared to defeat Hiranyaksha, who had abducted the earth, and by extension, the earth goddess, Bhumi, and carried it to the bottom of the cosmic ocean. The battle between Varaha and Hiranyaksha is believed to have lasted for 1,000 years, which the former finally won. Varaha carried the earth out of the ocean between his tusks and restored it to its place in the universe. Narasimha, the half-man, half-lion avatar, Hiranyakashipu persecuted everyone for their religious beliefs, including his son, Prahlada, who was a devotee of Vishnu. The boy was protected by the god and could not be killed, thus being saved by the several attempts of getting harmed. Vishnu descended as an anthropomorphic incarnation, with the body of a man and head and claws of a lion. He disemboweled Hiranyakashipu and brought an end to the persecution of human beings, including his devotee Prahlada. Vamana, the dwarf avatar, the grandson of Prahlada, Bali, with devotion and penance, was able to defeat Indra, the king of heaven. This humbled the other deities and extended his authority over the 3 worlds. The gods appealed to Vishnu for protection, and he descended as a boy Vamana. During a yajna, also known as Hawan, in Hinduism refers to any ritual done in front of a sacred fire, often with mantras. Of the king, Vamana approached him, and Bali promised him for whatever he asked. Vamana asked for 3 paces of land. Bali agreed, and the dwarf then changed his size to that of the giant Trivikrama form. With his first stride, he covered the earthly realm. With the second, he covered the heavenly realm, thereby symbolically covering the abode of all living beings. He then took the 3rd stride for the netherworld. Bali realized that Vamana was Vishnu incarnate. In deference, the king offered his head as the 3rd place for Vamana to place his foot. The avatar did so and thus granted Bali immortality and made him ruler of Pathala, the netherworld. Vishnu also granted Bali a boon, whereby he could return to earth every year. The harvest festivals of Balipratipada and Onam, which is mostly celebrated by people of all faiths within Kerala, are celebrated to mark his yearly homecoming. This legend appears in hymn 1.154 of the Rig Veda and other Vedic as well as Puranic texts. Parashurama, the warrior avatar. He is the son of Jamadagni and Renuka and was granted as a boon, an axe after a penance to Shiva. Once, the king Kartavirya Arjuna and his hunting party halted at the ashrama of Jamadagni, the father of Parashurama. The sage was able to feed them all with the aid of the divine cow Kamadhenu. The king demanded the cow, but Jamadagni refused. Enraged, the king took it by force and destroyed the ashrama and left along with the cow. Parashurama then killed the king at his palace and destroyed his army. In revenge, the sons of Kartavirya killed Jamadagni. Parashurama took a vow to travel across the world 21 times and kill every Kshatriya king on earth, filling 5 lakes with their blood. Ultimately, his grandfather, the Rishi Richika, appeared before him and made him halt. He is a Chiranjeevi, immortal, and believed to be alive today in penance at Mahendragiri. He is also credited with creating the coastal belt of Karnataka and Kerala by throwing his mighty axe as per Hindu mythology. The place the axe landed in the sea, got its water displaced and the land which emerged, thus came to be known as the coast of Karnataka and the whole of Kerala. Rama, the king of Ayodhya. He is a commonly worshipped avatar in Hinduism and is thought of as the ideal man and the embodiment of righteousness. His story is recounted in one of the most widely read scriptures of Hinduism, the Ramayana. While in exile from his own kingdom with his brother Lakshmana and wife Sita, she was abducted by Ravana, a Rakshasa and king of Lanka. Rama traveled to Lanka, killed Ravana and saved Sita. Rama and Sita returned home and were crowned. The day of the return of Prince Rama to the kingdom of Ayodhya is celebrated in the festival of Diwali all over India. Krishna was the eighth son of Devaki and Vasudeva and the foster son of Yashoda and Nanda, a frequently worshipped deity. In Hinduism, he is born to slay his tyrannical uncle, Kamsa. He is a major protagonist of the Mahabharata, most notably featured in his role as the charioteer of Arjuna in the Kurukshetra war. He embodies several qualities such as love, duty, compassion, and playfulness. Krishna's birthday is celebrated every year by Hindus on Krishna Janmashtami, according to the lunisolar Hindu calendar, which falls in late August or early September of the Gregorian calendar. Krishna is usually depicted with a flute in his hand. Krishna is also a central character in Mahabharata, Bhagavata Purana, and the Bhagavad Gita. Buddha, Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, is commonly included as an avatar of Vishnu in Hinduism. Buddha is sometimes depicted in Hindu scriptures as a preacher who deludes and leads asuras and heretics away from the path of the Vedic scriptures. But another view praises him, a compassionate teacher who preached the path of ahimsa, non-violence. But here's the twist. What if Kalki's arrival isn't just in our future, but in our present? The scriptures describe Kali Yuga as an age of confusion, chaos, and moral collapse. Let's take a closer look. Signs of Kali Yuga from the Bhagavata Purana, SB 12.2. People will not think twice before cutting down trees or destroying groves. Everyone will eat the same kind of food, i.e., will lack discrimination in matters of food and food habits. Even though having the outward appearance of saints, people will indulge in trade and commercial activity. During Kali Yuga, a man will be friends only with his wife. A man will consider only those people to be his relatives who are related to him through his wife. Whoever has money will be considered of noble birth and as having good qualities. The one who has power in his hands will be able to steer the course of justice in his favor. The one who lacks money and cannot bribe will be deprived of justice by the courts. People will consider far off water bodies as pilgrimage, but neglect pilgrimages near to them, for example, living with parents and serving them. Brahmins will start performing the tasks which otherwise Shudras are supposed to perform. Brahmins will abstain from sacrifices and the study of Vedas. People will stop making offerings to their ancestors. Brahmins will start eating anything, i.e., they become indiscriminate in their food habits. Men will have a shorter lifespan and be feeble in strength. They will be weak in energy and valor. Under the burden of excess taxation, householders will turn into robbers. In ashramas, brahmacharis will indulge in evil conduct and pander to the desires of the world. The ashrams will be full of show-offs who are experts in the art of living off the food of others. When Kali Yuga degenerates even further, people who follow Dharma are seen to have an ever smaller life. People will sell goods with false weights. There will be a lot of deceit associated with trade. Towards the end of Kali Yuga, the young one acts like the old. The conduct that suits the young is seen in the old. The old will think like children, and the young will have the intelligence of the old. In Kali Yuga, people abbreviate the truth. Because of this harm done to the truth, lifespans are shortened. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas will beget children with each other and become like Shudras, devoid of austerities and truth. Because of the shortage of cows, people will resort to drinking goat and sheep milk. In Kali Yuga, rules about what is to be eaten are transgressed. Brahmins will not observe sacred vows, but will criticize the Vedas. Deluded by logic, they will give up worship and yajnas. At the end of Kali Yuga, the world will be overtaken by mleccha conduct. There will be no rites and sacrifices. There will be unhappiness everywhere, and no festivals will be celebrated. Men will rob possessions of others, even that of widows. Men will happily accept gifts given even by the evil. When the end of Kali Yuga is near, the Kshatriyas will be the thorns of the world. They will not protect others. No one will ask for a girl's hand in marriage. No one will duly give away a girl in marriage. When Kali Yuga is fully ripe, men and women will choose their spouses themselves. Kings, discontented with what they possess, will use every means possible to steal the property of others. When a Kali Yuga is fully advanced, one hand will steal from the other. Cowards will take pride in their bravery, and the brave will be immersed in depression like cowards. During the final stages of Kali Yuga, there will be no Brahmins, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas left. At the end of Kali Yuga, the world will have only one Varna. Wives will not tend to their husbands. Men and women will eat whatever they wish. People will adorn themselves with the marks of a sadhu, a religious ascetic, i.e., there will be profusion of fake sadhus. Cooked food will be sold at all major thoroughfares. According to Shastra's, selling of cooked food is a sin. This is because everyone has a right to food, whether he has money or not. When Kali Yuga is fully advanced, each will act as he wishes, human rights. Brahmins will be oppressed by Shudras and thus tormented. The former will wander all over the earth, looking for protection. Shudras will expound on Dharma, and the Brahmins will listen to their discourses and serve them. Everything in the world will be utterly upside down. Discarding the gods, bones set into walls will be worshipped. Men will be addicted to meat and liquor. Rains will shower down at the wrong time. Overcome by the burden of taxation, Brahmins will flee in the 10 directions. Friends and relatives will act only out of love for wealth. Travelers in transit, guests, will ask for food and water but will not receive it. They will be refused shelter and will be forced to sleep on the roads. People will leave their own countries and seek refuge in other countries, directions, regions, etc., and will roam around the world lamenting, alas, father, component placement, alas, son. Mutual liking between the boy and girl and not family pedigree or social status, etc., will be criteria for selecting a spouse. Cheating will be the order of the day in business relations. Physical attraction will be the criterion for excellence in men and women. The only mark of evil will be poverty. The one who can make a great display of his austerities, occult powers, etc., will be considered the greatest sadhu. Brushing one's hair and dressing up will be considered as a substitute for bath. The highest purpose of life will be to fill one's belly. Maintenance of one's family will be looked upon as the highest skill. Dharma, order, will be followed to gain fame. There will be no rule in becoming a king. Any Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, depending on who is the most powerful at the time, will become the king. At that time, the rulers will be so greedy that there will not be any difference between them and robbers. Houses will be desolate because of the lack of chanting of Vedas and absence of guests. Sound familiar? Are we already deep into Kali Yuga's final days? Ancient texts weren't vague. They gave us details. Let's investigate. Kalki will be born in Shambala, a place whose exact location is debated. Let's dive deeper and get the location of this place. The word Shambala is a Sanskrit word that means place of peace or place of silence. It is a kingdom that is said to be located in the Himalayas. According to legend, it is a land where only the pure of heart can live, meaning those who have achieved enlightenment. Accordingly, the kingdom of Shambala is a place where love and wisdom reign and where people are immune to suffering, want, or old age. Shambala is said to be the land of 1,000 names. It has been called the Forbidden Land, the land of white waters, the land of radiant spirits, the land of living fire, the land of the living gods, and the land of wonders. Some Hindus call it Aryavarta, the land of the worthy ones. The Chinese know it as Shitian, the western paradise of Shiwangmu. And to the Russian Old Believers, it is known as Belovoid. But throughout Asia, it is best known by its Sanskrit name, Shambala, Shambala, or Shangri-La. What do ancient books tell about this place? Srimad Bhagavatam foretells the birth of Kalki, the Lord of the universe, who will appear at the conjunction of two yugas, when the rulers of the earth have degenerated into plunderers. The same is mentioned in the Vishnu Purana, that Shambhala will be the birthplace of Kalki, the 10th and final incarnation of Vishnu. Kalki is said to be a great warrior who will appear at the end of the Kali Yuga, the current age of darkness and chaos. He will defeat the forces of evil and usher in a new age of peace and prosperity. The text in which Shambhala is first discussed extensively is the Kala Chakra. The Kala Chakra refers to a complex and advanced esoteric teaching and practice in Tibetan Buddhism. Why Hitler was in Tibet. The external level of Shambhala is the physical place in the north where the teachings were kept and took place. The external cycles deal with astronomy, as well as Kali Yuga, the last stage the world will go through, and a war to overcome destructive forces. In the 1930s, Hitler sent several expeditions to Tibet in search of Shambhala. The most famous of these was the 1938 to 1939 German expedition to Tibet, led by Ernst Schaefer. This expedition was ostensibly a scientific mission, but it is believed that Hitler also hoped that it would find Shambhala. While the German expedition to Tibet was unable to locate Shambhala, it did return with knowledge about Tibetan history and culture. This knowledge was used by the Nazis to buttress their own racial ideas, and it also helped to feed Hitler's confidence in the power of Shambhala. Still, the search for Shambhala, which combines myth, spirituality, and historical intrigue, has captivated the attention of many. But what about the parents of Kalki Avatar? According to the writings, his father's name will be Vishnuyasha, and his mission will begin when Adharma dominates the earth. The beginning of the Kalki Purana describes Kali's lineage, starting with Brahma, his great-great-grandfather, and ending with the birth of his children's children. Instead of being born of poison from the churning of the ocean of milk, according to other Hindu texts, he is the product of a long line of incestuous monsters born from Brahma's back. Kali is the great-great-grandson of Brahma. He is the son of Krodha, anger, and his sister-turned-wife Himsa, violence. He is the grandson of Damba, vanity, and his sister Maya, illusion. He is the great-grandson of Adharma, impropriety, and his wife, Mithya, falsehood. Adharma was originally created from Brahma's back as a Malina Pataka, a very dark and deadly sinful object. Kali and his family were created by Brahma to hasten the dissolution of the cosmos after the Pralaya destruction period was over. When his family takes human form on earth, they further taint the hearts and minds of mankind to bring about the end of the Dvapara Yuga and the beginning of the Kali Yuga. During the first stage of the Kali Yuga, the Varnashrama social class breaks down and deific worship is forsaken by man. All through the second, third, and fourth stages, man forgets the name of God and no longer offers yajna, offerings, to the Devas, manifestation of Kalki on earth. Brahma and the Devas approach Vishnu for protection from the evils of the Kali Yuga. After listening to accounts of violence and injustice occurring in the universe, Vishnu promises to be born into the family of Vishnu Yashas and Sumati in Shambala. So far, we know the name of the location where the last avatar will be born, as well as the names of its parents. Additionally to that, we know that there will be a spiritual drought. In recent decades, several people across India and abroad have claimed to be Kalki. Some even gained thousands of followers. For example, the most recent claim happened in July 2021, when former Gujarat government employee Ramesh Chandra Fefar, who claims to be the Kalki Avatar, or the last incarnation of Lord Vishnu, has demanded that his gratuity be released immediately, or else he will bring a severe drought on the world using his divine powers this year. He was earlier granted premature retirement from the government service due to his absence from office following his avatar claim. Though Ramesh Chandra Fefar's claim only created a meme on the internet, the other false Kalki managed to create a whole movement. Bhagavan was born as Vijay Kumar Naidu on 7th March 1949. In Natham village, Vellore district in Tamil Nadu, to Vaidarbi Amma and Sri Varadarajulu. His father was the head of the accounts department of Indian Railways. In 1955, his family moved to Chennai, where he attended Don Bosco School. In his childhood, he was introduced to the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti by his friend R. Sankar. After completing college, he worked as an office clerk for Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC. Creation of the movement. In 1984, Bhagavan established a residential school called Jivashram in Chittor district, Andhra Pradesh, to provide an alternative form of education with the goal of developing an environment for children to discover themselves and reach their full potential. In 2000, he subsequently founded the Oneness organization with the stated mission to create lasting spiritual transformation and to alleviate human suffering, at its roots by awakening humanity into oneness and transforming the world into a better place. During the early stages of the movement, Bhagavan was regarded by his followers as Kalki, the 10th incarnation of Vishnu, and his work was locally referred to as the Kalki movement. Bhagavan has also stated that, although this is the time for Kalki's emergence, Kalki is not one person but a collective awakening. In 2017, the Oneness organization, along with his business interests, were handed over to Bhagavan's son, NKV Krishna, and daughter-in-law, Preetha Krishna. The organization was renamed to ECOM. In 2019, the Income Tax Department officials seized cash and gold from properties owned by Bhagavan's son with total estimated value worth 93 crore rupees. Was this prophecy symbolic or literal? Is the Kalki Avatar already among us? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our deep dive into, and remember, darkness never wins. It only sets the stage for the light to rise.